Hello and welcome back to my course. Let me share my PPT so that we can continue. So we are now studying naturalism. And let me repeat what we have learned so far. So far, we have covered the introductory part of naturalism. So I have explained what is naturalism. It is a worldview that denies God's immanence as well as transcendence. So it's very similar to materialism, and you can find the representative website. And I have told you that it was started by the ancient Greek Ionian school, and I mentioned few philosophers and scholars at that time. For instance, Thales, who regarded the origin of all things as water, and Democritus, who argued that all things are made of atoms. And Epicurus argued the principle of utilitarianism, basically, and Lucretius argued that the universe is a net of sophisticated causality. And then the most representative website is here. And the motto of this website is that nature is enough. So we don't need any other like God or things like that. Sorry. And you can find some additional websites here. And then I have explained the basic contents of naturalism. First of all, the reality and the best true existence is all material. So it disregards any spiritual aspect. Secondly, it also argues that the universe is a congruence of causality within a closed system. I quote this sentence from James Sire. Third, human beings are just a complicated machine and a part of the universe. So this worldview regards human being as just mechanical elements. So there is no spiritual or psychological perspective here. Fourthly, about the human knowledge, it argued that humans can have knowledge through reason. That is the light of nature. The fifth point, both nature and human history are linear sequences. So this is the view of history in time. And this is linked by causalities. But there is no overall purpose in this history. No purpose in history, but linear sequence. That's the typical view of naturalism. And about ethics, naturalism argues that it is limited to humans and that values are made by humans. And then I mentioned some representative naturalists from France, England, and United States. And I have explained especially René Descartes' view because he is a very important thinker. And also, de la Mettrie is one of the most important representative naturalists. And then in England, I mentioned Charles Darwin and John Dewey in America and Carl Sagan as well. Now, let me move on to the strong and weak points of this worldview. So what are the strong points of naturalism? Why is it so popular to many other people? So let me try to explain the first strong point. That is that they are fully aware of the importance of science and provides a framework for most scientific research. So it emphasizes scientific research. It forms a fundamental worldview of biology, geography, astronomy, anthropology, archaeology, and psychology. So it goes in parallel with the development of natural and social science. For instance, in psychology, it suggests that the origin of human psychology and mind were naturally created by chance. By chance. That is the key word in this worldview. In terms of astronomy, this worldview presupposes that the Earth was formed due to natural phenomena by accident. By chance and by accident are almost the same. As for humanities, this worldview claims that human values are based on naturalism. So, human values are based on materialistic value. And therefore, since the 17th century, modern science has developed remarkably to support this claim. So naturalism was developed by the rapid development of modern science. And people um, began to believe the power of science. Now, what is the second strong point? It seems very honest and objective because it accepts facts based on scientific exploration and only things based on experience. So scientific experiment and experience are the two major sources of this worldview. And also, human rationality becomes the decisive authority of truth because it acknowledges the importance of human reason. So, without any divine revelation, human reason is the main source of this worldview. And it rejected the divine revelation, as I just mentioned, or any authority of the church and the Pope emphasized by the Catholic Church in the medieval ages. So they reject all this kind of authority. Instead, it put more emphasis on human-centered rational thinking and experience. So it restored the position of reason, which had become relatively diminished in the medieval ages because the church has suppressed this reason by the power of authority. As a result, as naturalism rapidly developed science and technology, it became an important driver of modernism, including the Enlightenment in the 18th century. And modernism is a very optimistic worldview that uh, believes the ability of humans to build a utopia on their own thought through the economic development capitalism and development of science and technology, which is caused by scientific rationality and human reason. So naturalism is a part of modernism, you can say. And third, the strong point of naturalism is that it seems very consistent. Why? Because it claims that the preconditions of naturalism are the research results of many scholars, and they never unconditionally premise God, soul, or afterlife. So naturalism is also linked to positivism, which emerged later. And positivism is the worldview centered on Auguste Comte of France, applying natural science methodology to social sciences. So naturalism is closely related with positivism. And naturalism, like deism, try to restore its status by emphasizing human reason that has been underestimated, resulting in the development of natural science. And this spread to other worldviews linked to naturalism, such as humanism, evolutionism, and materialism or Marxism. So consistent in its own way, it still has a lot of influence on many people. But this worldview has some weak points as well. So let me explain what are the weak points of naturalism. First of all, it is unable to give a refreshing answer to the question of value. In other words, it does not provide sufficient evidence for the value of human existence because it saw human existence as a mere result of chance. So if you think of your existence as a chance, it's very difficult to explain the meaning of your life, isn't it? It's almost impossible for a materialism-based worldview to accommodate spiritual values or spiritual phenomena. Therefore, they have no other choice but to remain silent on spiritual matters because in naturalism, only matter exists forever. There's no space for spirit. And they say that there is no supernatural or spiritual world, and that only natural laws and forces work in this world. But there is no spiritual world according to this worldview. However, we cannot deny that there are many mysterious phenomena in history that go beyond the laws of nature. And humans also have had physical as well as spiritual experiences as such. So we cannot deny the spiritual aspect of human life. Number two, if humans are just complex machines and personalities are just interactions of chemical and physical properties, there's no free will for humans. In other words, If humans had no free will, we could no longer hold humans morally responsible. Machines cannot have free will, so machines are not responsible, isn't it? For example, if a person steals or commits a murder, it will be impossible to punish them if the act is explained by mechanical causality. And therefore, you can say that naturalistic ethics is expressed what is right. What is nature, right? So nature is right. But here, there is no basis for how to extract out sollen in German from existence is sein in German. So is and out are totally different dimension. Therefore, there is no base of ethics for naturalists. This is called naturalistic fallacy. You cannot just justify what is because there are many wrong things and crimes in this world. Number three, it's very optimistic about human reason and science. So naturalism is basically very optimistic worldview because it almost puts reason and science in a position of an ultimate savior. But in the last World War One and Two, humans almost destroyed the world with science technology they believed to be reasonable. Think of the atomic bomb, the Holocaust, and all the victims. But we cannot accept that as reasonable, isn't it? So naturalistic worldview on humans is too naive and too positive. And since they see the universe as a machine subjected to causality, the world is a closed system, like theism, making it hard to develop. They also interpret humans as subordinated components of this machine. Therefore, ultimately, the values and dignity and free will of humanity they wish to defend practically have no place in naturalism. Since everything is driven by causality in a determined closed system, there's no space for freedom, and human freedom is further restricted as science develops through natural laws. Fourthly, there are no fundamental differences between humans and other creatures if you hold on this naturalistic worldview. On the surface, some animals have similar body structures to humans, but humans are clearly different from other plants and animals. However, it's very difficult for naturalists to explain where the special functional difference between humans and monkeys originated if it is not through matter. So naturalism eventually gave rise to the worldview called secular humanism. And the ultimate failure of secular humanism is that it promises what it cannot fulfill. It's like building another Tower of Babel. So, eventually, this naturalistic worldview gave rise to a pessimistic nihilism. And this naturalism also gave rise to materialism and communist worldviews through Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. Well, Karl Marx was a German thinker from Trier who later spread communism worldwide from London, England. At one point, one third of the world was communized, but now communism as an ideology has declined as the Eastern Bloc and the Soviet Union collapsed. Therefore, his ideas has been weakened, but still influence some people. The fatal weakness of Marx's ideal society is where communism is fulfilled, but in order to do so, revolution is necessary, he said. And sacrifice then is inevitable during the revolution. For instance, you can think of Lenin's Bolshevik Revolution in Russia, which killed about 20 million people. That is more than World War II victims and the Holocaust, you see. So it is very hard to justify for any reason, and furthermore, mental value is undermined by explaining everything in matter. Therefore, we need to find out some alternatives to this naturalistic worldview. But I will continue my lecture after a pause. So we will see you again, and thank you for your attention.